Hello, for more some Things Invest, talk about investing, finance, and professional development for today's items only. The investment talk today will be Ethereum Ticket Teach. First, just want to say happy Thursday, everybody. Have a great week so far. Respect to recording time of 9:50 a.m. on the Eastern Time. Ethereum current trade $3,567, up about 0.67% so far. We incur a slight volatility across the equity market and how the anti correlates with the crypto market earlier today. I would say in the span of an hour, 45 minutes so far, we had that relatively sizable jerk across the market, right? With respect to the key driver on the most macro perspective. It's talking about with respect to the retail sales adjustments, right? So the stock index future found support after data showed that August retail sales rose by 0.7%, defying forecast for 0.7% fall. Excluding auto sales jumped 1.8% compared to expectations for a rise of 0.2%. So with this support, obviously will drive some confidence among the equity market, despite the sell-off that we incurred earlier today. And with that anti-correlation, it will subsequently drive the crypto market to, prematurely go up, but subsequently reverse. And this is the reason why we kind of hover back down from the surge that we saw earlier today to test about, for Ethereum specifically, $3,600. But as the news broke out on this specific report, on a macro perspective, people start chasing in on the equity side, and this is the reason why we subsequently had that slight rebound on that V-shaped recovery around like I would say 9:45 a.m. Eastern time mark, which is typically the time when you see a drop among the hedge fund community, and then the repurchasing activity from the retail investors and respective institutional investors as well. So with respect to some of the news, I would say collectively in the last 5-6 hours so far, the news are very, very positive, very bullish, okay? And just talk about with respect to the first one, Bazinga 2 hours ago, talk about these cryptocurrencies has better 4-year returns than Bitcoin. Talk about Dogecoin, talk about Ethereum, talk about Cardano, talk about Solana. So this is another just position news talking about all the altcoin, if you may, or Ethereum is it even an altcoin anymore? But anyways, the way they characterize it is basically another reinforcement news on supporting their thesis on why these are the bullish assets to be investing going forward. Another one talk about on Cointelegraph. This is a technical analysis article from a specific analyst from Cointelegraph that they're supporting. With respect to Ethereum eyes 6.5K bullish target as Ethereum price chart paints cup and handle. So this is something we are seeing prominently. But with respect to cup and handle, is that something that's completely verified? We know that MACD right now is slowly forming a scoop, so which is what they call the cup and the handle, and also on the chart as well. You see this mega sell-off from the whales, and then subsequently we're scooping back up. But RSI is still kind of leaning more of a normalization level. We are at the 67.7, so in the scale of 70, which is basically like screaming overbought, or the risk is high, the risk is still relatively high. So in terms of like jumping by $6,500 as the next level, contingent on the scoop, right? On how and when is the cross section is going to endure, and how much of an outlier are we going to be forming? Because if we form a huge outlier, yeah, because like technically the 3,150 would be the new bottom, and if that's the bottom, if you're going to triangulate the same momentum, I think we should technically reach way above, obviously, the 4,383, which is the next level that will hover as a first level of consolidation, because that's just the way it is. And then the next level will be up in the sky that we do not have a prediction. So 6,500 as a Fibonacci level that they have defined. And ultimately just a speculations, right? Because ultimately we do not know the amount that the whales or the institution is going to be buying in. The levels that we are currently chasing it right now is mainly coming from public investors. So how likely are we going to collectively be buying more? Where's the cash going to be coming from? Unless you sell off some other side of the house, which is on the equity side. But it seems like we are not doing that at the moment, right? We are chasing back up on the equity side in the short term. So something we have to be watching out for. So still relatively mixed signal, but in the short term wise, Ethereum is definitely showing some bullishness. But in terms of fundamentals, we are still within the cycle. So something we have to be cautious about, right? The next level is talk about Bazinga 3 hours ago. Talk about with respect to the Ethereum crossed 3,600, and as Vitalik Buterin, which is the founder of Ethereum, makes times 100 most influential peoples on the list. So this is just another reinforcement news, but does Vitalik Buterin's name being named does the 100 most influential people of 2021 have anything to do with Ethereum? I guess so, but is it substantive enough to drive the surge that we're seeing right now? I would say no. I would say it's just as a collection of a lot of various different positive news on NFT side, on Cathie Wood, on the macroeconomical data that came out, how that anti-correlation from the equity to the obviously crypto side of the world, and also other news that's just been just position news supporting Ethereum as the key value proposition to invest in the crypto side of the house, right? So a lot of bullish news, and whenever you see a lot of bullish news, this is when you have to be raising your spidey sense exponentially more than when everybody's screaming fear, right? So something we have to be cautious of, right? Just to keep yourself in that sanity mode, so don't use your emotions in play or chase into the hype, if you may, right? And then the next one is talking about with respect to Bitcoin's proponent and El Salvador's president, Naya Berkeley, is on Time's 100 most influential people's list alongside with Ethereum Vitalik Buterin. So the El Salvador is the first country to institutionalize cryptocurrencies to be a form of payment or usage in their commerce, right? So that's something that we appreciate as a first of one of the first initiator, if you may, in this global adoptions going forward. So him being named the 100 most influential people, he's the first person to, or the president is the first one that signed off on this, right? Despite the country is relatively small in comparison to the more established or dominant countries in the world, but this is a first step, and we appreciate that because it takes one step at a time. So El Salvador is the first one, and next thing you know, we will be expanding to across the whole South America and North America and then globally. So that's something we hope to be further adopted going forward. So more good news on that front. Another news talk about on MarketWatch 11 hours ago. In addition to Bitcoin, AMC will soon accept other cryptocurrencies, and they talk about Ethereum. So AMC, as you know, cinema is a theater company globally, not just in the U.S. And this is something that we are, seeing more now. We see like Amazon, we see Walmart, you see AMC, obviously PayPal, Venmo. All of these companies are adopting cryptocurrencies as a form of payment now. So another great step of approval. We love these type of news because further being adopted means more price imbalance, which will subsequently drive the price point for Ethereum to go up. And that's pretty much it on all the news front. Again, I have not named any negative news so far, and because there isn't any, everything has been just really, really positive, really, really green today. So again, on the MACD and RSI is still in the mid-level in 56 out of the scale of 70. So we are still leaning more towards the overbought versus oversold level. We are in the mid of it. On top of the fact that the MACD, per the article that we saw, right, we are forming a scoop and handle, which is the curvature that we're talking about, right? So if we cross the green line, the yellow line versus the blue line, and we cross, we're gonna keep surging up and away. But again, we know that we have searched up for a relatively long time, ever since the B word summit on the 20th to all the way until now, right? So it's been just like about close to 2 months of search, right? So is this something that is we can sustain and endure for a long time? We do know that in the short term we are going to see some bullishness coming. Despite the whole market's red right now, which is great. We appreciate that. But risk is definitely increasing. So if you bought in now, right, this is something that you just have to keep yourself in that mental preparation for, because like again, right, whatever goes up really, really fast comes down just as fast, right? And the current buying activity is all coming from public investors. So let's just stay within the frames of reference, right? we are within the phase after complacency stage, and I know it looks kind of a mixed signal, right? We were at the euphoria stage literally a couple of months ago. Does the cycle already continue and restart the whole cycle? I know it looks very comparable to it, but we know that the complacency stage was when we were at the 4,000, right? We tried to test the all-time high. So right now we're just being jerked by all of these positive news. And is it coincidental that we see all of this positive news in the last 1 month so far, right? And they've been very aggressive if we're keeping tabs, right? So would I be chasing now? I would say no, because we would technically only buy when the RSI is relatively depleted, when it's demanding a relatively sizable discount. But right now we are in the mid of it, so um, for me, I'll just be more risk averse and I'll just stay off, because doesn't quite logically make sense despite the short term bullishness. Because again, right, we have seen how volatile it is, right? This is mainly driven by the news, and we know the news are relatively old news, so we do not know how or psychologically what the whales are thinking. We know that the purchasing activity is mainly driven by public investors, so there's a reason why they have been so aggressive. So something you have to be thoughtful about, right? Again, for my price levels, 3,000, 2,700 to 2,450, and for the if you bought in now, right? Let's just say you want to do it now. That's fine. It's like this is something we're holding for a long term. But again, this is just what I'm doing, because I have a large position, and for me to buy to additional to have more risk exposure for myself, I need to be thoughtful, extra thoughtful, because I'm loading a lot of money into it, right? If I sell my Ethereum, I could buy a house right now. So you know what I'm trying to say. So it's an important decision that I need to make, and also in the risk diversification perspective as well. So 9,800 is important that you understand. That's the mission. That's the goal going forward, in the next 12 months from now, basically. And that's 3.3 times your money from here. Hopefully this is helpful. Really hopeful, really appreciate you. And also thank you for the 3,000 subscribers. I really appreciate you guys. You guys are really just my family. I enjoy chatting with you guys every single day, and I really appreciate the support and the friendship that you give me. And hopefully, I'll keep doing better. I'll try to do better, and I'll do better for you, because I care about what I do, and obviously you guys entrust in me. It's important that I am reciprocal on that front. So I really appreciate you, and stay tuned for us to come up. Take care. Bye.